For me, it's a great honor to be here for the fourth edition of Marisiensis Pathology Days. It is part of University Days, and this year we have amazing speakers. We're starting with Professor Florin Oprescu from Australia for Brisbane University, and Professor Oprescu we talk about transforming histopathology education with artificial intelligence. The second speaker is Professor Marta Cohen. He is Vice President of Royal College of Pathologists of the United Kingdom. She is here for the third time, and we are very, very honored to be here. And the lecture of Professor Marta Cohen will be about perinatal infections. The next speaker is Professor Hava Seraptoru. She is a very good friend of us, of our university, and also she is expert in perinatal pathology and pediatric pathology, and the presentation will be about pediatric and perinatal autopsy, approach and innovation back to future. Professor Serap came in Romania for many, many times. The next presentation will be an online presentation from Professor Claudia Salgado from Miami University, Miller School of Medicine. Last year, Professor Salgado and Professor Miguel Reyes Mujica were here, and this year they have the online presentation. And the last speaker from today will be Professor Miguel Reyes Mujica. He is international expert, one of editor of WHO classification and blue books, and the presentation will be about cancer predisposition syndrome in children, including central nervous system. That will be the first day. The second day, we start in the morning with two short presentations from young colleagues about molecular pathology. The first speaker will be Dr. Iuliu Cocuz, our colleague from pathology department, sequences by synthesis in the context of molecular pathology. The next presentation tomorrow will be updates in the molecular landscape and colorectal adenocarcinoma from Dr. Andreea Raluca Kozak-Sioche, another young colleague of us. Will be the next presentation, Professor Konrad Steinser from Ulm University. It's a military hospital, and Professor Konrad is expert in molecular pathology, especially in lung pathology. At noon, we have a book release, Le Thyroid, written by Professor Miriam de Cosi Petrucci, Professor Nicole Berger, Professor Angela Borda, and Marie Donzel, together with my colleagues from histology department. And tomorrow, the last presentation will be applied 2023 Bethesda system for thyroid cytopathology, insight from daily practice, from Professor Miriam de Cosi Petrucci from Lyon University, France. That will be very, very short presentation of our program today and tomorrow. And I very appreciated to my colleagues, the Vice Dean, the Vice Rector, Professor Cardos, Professor Muroșan, and Professor Bănescu, and Vice Dean, Professor Login, and all of you. I'm very grateful to be here today and tomorrow.
It's a pleasure for me to be here. My presentation is going to be on perinatal infections, congenital infections. So I'm going to talk about what infections, what's the route of transmission. Is it vertical, is through the blood, is ascending from the cervix, viruses. I'm going to talk about what they produce in the baby and what they produce in the placenta, what the different patterns of infection in the placenta. And importantly, I'm going to talk about sexually transmitted infections because syphilis is on the rise. So I'm going to talk about syphilis, what they produce in the baby, what they can produce in the placenta, and also the association with HIV, with hepatitis B, that are also congenital infections that may be silent, not as syphilis, but they are now more and more associated with syphilis.
My topic is on pediatric and perinatal autopsy. I'm starting from the history and for future. It's like a back to future. I will make a path through the history about what's new, what's in the past, and what's happening in the pediatric and perinatal autopsy and autopsies, and what's the reasons of the decline in the number of the cases, and what we have to do, and what's big data. I will talk about it.